Hello, this is Guy Grant, your Spring Hill, Florida realtor. I'm coming to you today with some interesting information on a court case that is making its way, well, it's all the way to the Florida Supreme Court at this time. And the gist of it is there was a guy that rented a couple rooms in his house to make ends meet, and they decided that he was no longer his principal residence, that he was using it for commercial purposes, and they took his homestead exemption away. There's also another case of somebody that was renting a garage apartment, and they got nailed with 10 years of back taxes, 15% interest, and a 50% penalty. And what that lady said was, in most cases, if you break the law, you pay a fine. But for them, unintentionally breaking the homestead law, they lost that 3% per year cap. So their house skyrocketed in taxable value, and so they're going to be paying higher tax bills for the rest of their life. So it's kind of a a brutal penalty. So that's what I wanted to why I wanted to bring this to you. This guy, Bill First, he is the property appraiser in Sarasota County. He's the one that's really pressing this. He lost it both the lower court, the original decision, he lost at the appeals court, and now he's taking it to the Supreme Court. And so he's really pushing to get this money. And what he said is most homestead exemptions they investigate begin after a neighbor calls. So if you're renting rooms, your neighbors are probably going to realize that. And if you're claiming homestead, it could end up causing you a problem. So that's one of the main gists of what I wanted to give you. But the other one is to just watch this case, because it's really it's really an important case how this one works out. And they say it's pretty clear, if you're using it for commercial purposes, you're not supposed to do that and still be able to claim homestead exemption, which I get that to a certain extent. This guy First thinks that it'll be all kinds of abuse from commercial property owners if he doesn't win this court case, which I think is a little overstated. Um, this is the case, this First versus Rebolts. Rebolts has died, but he was renting out a couple rooms, and his attorney is actually using the argument and has prevailed in both lower courts that the property appraiser cannot split a property for homestead. They can't say, well, it's 50% homestead and 50% not. It's either a homesteaded property or it's not a homesteaded property. And it seems like the justices are kind of leaning that way, because the one justice asked, what do you do about grandma who bakes cookies? Are you going to take her homestead exemption away? Or are you going to just say, oh, well, it's just her oven that's not homesteaded now, or just the kitchen, or what? How it's really arbitrary. And this Jason Lessinger guy, he's the attorney for the property appraiser. He's using the example of a Mary Kay lady, saying if she works out of her house and has her whatever suitcases full of Mary Kay stuff. I don't know exactly how all that works, but I'm assuming she would have stuff at home that she shouldn't be allowed to have a homestead exemption for that, which if it's your main house, if it's where you live and you raise your family, that's your homesteaded property as far as I'm concerned. But they're going to fight this all out in court, and hopefully Rebolts will prevail at the Supreme Court, but it's definitely one that you need to keep an eye on. They tried changing a bill, but that bill never got out of committee. The politicians are too weak-kneed to touch something like this. So, and the other thing they brought up was that during the pandemic, you had all these people working out of their houses. Now, did their house become a business, a place of business at that point? Do they lose their homestead exemption? I don't think so. So I'm hoping the Supreme Court rules the right way. And don't have a date for exactly when they're going to let their ruling out, but hopefully it will be soon. And I will keep you posted when I hear more. But I thought this was at least interesting enough to bring to you today. So until next time.